Hi there, welcome to my digital unit plan. The title of this unit is You Say You Want a Revolution, and it's revolutions across the globe, through time, and the effects on our modern world. So what we're going to be talking about a lot in this unit is these content standards. 10.2.1, compare the major ideas of philosophers and their effects on democratic revolutions in England, the United States, France, and Latin America. 2. List the principles of the Magna Carta, the English Bill of Rights, the American Declaration of Independence, the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, and the U.S. Bill of Rights. And 3. Understand the unique character of the American Revolution, its spread to other parts of the world, and its continuing significance to other nations. Now, here are English language standards. Got a few more of those. I'm not going to read all of them, but throughout this lesson, we're going to be focusing a lot on writing, creating, presenting, and a lot of publishing our own work. And for this unit, here are the essential questions. If you can answer these by the end of the unit, you know you're on track. The big ideas we have here are 1. The causes of the revolutions. 2. The Renaissance thinkers' effect on political ideology. 3. The vehicle to enact change. And what this really means is, how did the people of this country create a revolution? So was it through democracy? Was it through war? Was it through some other way? And 4. Important historical documents. As we saw in the content standards, all of these up here would be those important historical documents, how they affected the revolution. And power redistribution, meaning after a revolution, the power doesn't disappear, it goes somewhere. So where did that power go after the revolution happened? All right, let's get started here. So first we got our unit plan map. Wait for a second for it to load. And this just shows us in a quick snapshot where we're going to go. So if we click this, this would just show us exactly what we're going to view, what we're going to learn while we're there, what happens. So if you click this, it'll load up. And then as we're waiting for it to load, we got to start on the revolutions right here. And then China. We go through, got our assessments, and then we go to revolution simulation, and on and on and on. And this just shows us a quick snapshot of where we're going to go. All right, next page we got here is why study this? Why study the revolutions? This is a great thing to read before you start studying this, before we enter the unit. This would be a great thing to introduce you to this unit. If you don't think, or if you have second thoughts of why we should study this, this would be a great way to get yourself into it, because you may not think it's important, but this is probably one of the most important units we can have. It's the most, it's the one that shows action, democracy in action the most. So this is a great unit to learn how to use our democratic rights. And here we got our resources. So here's throughout the unit, I might be referring to these resources. And if I do not, these are also just great tools to help you along. You got videos, primary sources, primary source lesson plans, documents, all of those important documents that we were talking about. Got links to them right here. If you click that, it'll take you straight to a PDF version of the English Bill of Rights. And even though it's Old English, it's still a good to read. A lot of important stuff that we still see today in our democratic system. All right, next we got student engagement strategies. Here's just a list of engagement strategies that we may or may not get to in this unit, because there's a lot of strategies here. These are great tools to use. Google Docs, something that is incredibly important right now. And a lot of these are just great tools to use, even if you can't use them formally in the classroom. For students to use them outside of the classroom would be a great tool, like such as SurveyMonkey, Padlet, a lot of good stuff there. Primary source toolbox. Here we got a list of primary sources. These are very interesting if you want to get some extra reading, some stuff that was directly affected by the revolutions that we're going to talk to. or talk about rather, like the Argentinian Constitution. You might think to yourself, we're learning about Latin America. Can I get an example of a constitution that takes from the American Constitution or the English Constitution or the French Constitution that we're going to talk about? And sure, you can see evidence of that right here. Just click on that, go to there, and we got some other screencasts showing you guys about how to analyze these primary sources and some activities that you can do to break those down further. All right, let's get into the lesson plans. All right, first one is a lecture on China, the revolution in China, and how this played out. And we got the lecture right here going down. We have, these are our vocabulary words. Got our presentation right here, 14 slides long. And then the guided notes right here. And the part that I am very proud about of this lesson is this video right here. It's really jarring to see the propaganda that was used during this time. It's not just something that was a theory. You can see evidence of it right here. As you can see, it says Red Guard destroys bourgeois signs. And this is crazy to see that we have it on tape, and this was just an okay thing for them back in this time. Very eye-opening to watch that video if you get a chance. Take a look at that. All right, next we got the Enlightenment lesson. This lesson is really the lesson that brings everything together. We talked about all the different revolutions already, the different documents, and everything that we talk about and everything that we will talk about is affected by the Enlightenment. It all started here. So really understanding this lesson is going to be the platform for further understanding. You really can't understand this lesson enough. And yeah, so I'm going to read these goals and objectives, or at least the first one, because it's very important that we understand these. So students will be able to compare and contrast the ideas that propelled the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Glorious Revolution. See, this is taking Enlightenment theory and putting it straight into action, such as the American Revolution, French Revolution, Glorious, or English Revolution. This is the lesson that it's the glue of this unit. And this is the lesson right here, and the organizer I was talking about is this right here. So in the middle, we have American Revolution down here, and up here on the side, we have Glorious Revolution and French Revolution. And the point of this is to identify unique things about each revolution. And so, for example, Standard War broke out. Now, that might seem like a common thing between revolutions, but it actually did not happen in the French Revolution or Glorious Revolution. French Revolution was more of a takeover and just more of killings. You could call them senseless, but there was definitely purpose behind them. And in the Glorious Revolution, there was no war, so that would be a unique thing to the American Revolution. American Revolution created a new nation, democratic beginnings, desire for independence. All of these things were unique to the American Revolution, and it's key to understand not only what is unique for each revolution, but also how Enlightenment theory propelled almost every single one of these things behind the revolution. It's really crazy to think about. And the thing that is so interesting, since they were all inspired by Enlightenment, it was very difficult to fill out this. It doesn't look like many things that are unique for each revolution. That's because there were so many things that were in common. This is supposed to be a difficult assignment. You're not supposed to be able to find a whole lot of difference, because if you made a chart of comparisons, it could be almost endless. You have Enlightenment thinking throughout each one, and it's really just amazing to see. So we'll move on to the next lesson now, which is Latin America. And in this assignment, students are breaking down primary sources. This is going to be probably the most difficult assignment because the primary sources are from Latin American origins. So it's not only a different country, it's a different culture, it's a different setting, and it's something that you can't really just understand immediately. So the reading is a little difficult in this section. This is, like I said, the most difficult lesson of all of them, and you have all of the primary sources right here online. I really like that they're online because you can use, like we do in this lesson, you can use technology, Chromebooks or something, iPads, something of that type to distribute and to give the students for them to read, to break it down. They can highlight certain things easily. It's a lot more difficult to be on the same page. You can have students be in, Google Docs. They can break down because at the end of this assignment, they're creating a poster of things that were unique to their country. So they can use this technology. It's online, so they can use this technology to create this digital poster and then put ideas there, and then they can create an actual poster later on. So it's challenging, but I think this lesson will be almost the cornerstone. See, it's the Enlightenment and the impact of the American Revolution put into action right here. All right, we got Revolution's game. So this game is it's a game slash simulation. It's tough to label this really. What it comes down to is a debate. It's a debate between um, it's a fictional country, and the debate is whether they should have a revolution or not. And obviously, if you're going to have a revolution, you're probably not going to have a debate about it. But it's interesting to think about the concept of a democratic revolution and a peaceful revolution where everybody would side with the side who made the best points. And what would those points be? If you were going to make an argument for and against revolution, how would you frame that argument? And how would you persuade the people of your country? And so this setting is about during the Glorious Revolution, which was the one that started it all, really. So these are like you can say that the country that they're simulating is England, but so we have different categories of people. So we have, first of all, you have the two sides, the pro-revolutionaries and the anti-revolutionaries, and they're trying to convince these people to side with them. So you have the clergy, the common people, the middle class, soldiers, and the upper class. And students will be broken up into each category. So they'll have 4 students that are clergy, 10 common people, 6 middle class, 6 soldiers, and 2 upper class. And this is supposed to simulate what a country at this time would look like. And you have each student is supposed to prioritize different things. So, for example, clergy, your main focus is tradition. So they're going to want things to stay the same. They're probably not going to be for revolution. They're non-violent, so they don't care about military. So the people who are debating for revolution wouldn't want to push military stuff to the clergy. So it's really interesting. Got a lot of dynamic stuff going on there. All right, the last lesson is the discussion lesson. Now, this lesson is a Socratic seminar, but the difference is the students in the middle of the room are obviously discussing a topic, and the students on the outside of the room are using Chromebooks or iPads to have a different conversation that is based on what the students on the inside of the circle are saying. So the students will be using an online chat room, and the teacher will be monitoring that discussion. And every once in a while, the teacher can pull comments from the outer circle and say, hey, this person said this about what you said. What is your response? So if it's this website right here, actually, todaysmeet.com. So students on the outside circle are participating indirectly. So the students on the inside can have their conversation and have it be intimate, and the students on the outside can have their conversation and have their voices heard without disrupting the students on the inside of the circle. So this is my digital unit plan. Thanks for watching this, and yeah, thank you.